So the new chapter of Jujutsu Kaisen 202 is here, and boy is it a juicy one. Not only do we get to see more of this guy, we also get to see more of her. And also, this dude is back, and he's causing havoc again. So without further ado, let's get into the video. But before that, also, make sure to like and subscribe as it really does help me out. Appreciate you. So the chapter opens up with none other than Amanai Riko. From 12 years ago, he was the former star plasma vessel that was killed by Toji, who was supposed to merge with Tengen. And you get to see Yuki asking Tengen whether really no other star plasma vessels besides Amanai Riko 12 years ago, aside from me of course, just none with as much potential as Amanai Riko. So you're saying there were others, and this is a discussion between Tengen and Yuki, and we get to see why Yuki wanted to stay with Tengen, because we learn that she's actually a star plasma vessel, which is a wild development. And if you saw my spoiler video, you knew this was coming, but this, for the OG readers right now, is a absolutely wild development. So the conversation carries on, and Yuki asks Tengen why take such a risk to reject the merger, and Tengen responds with, I didn't reject it so much as accept reality. Merging with the star plasma vessel would only reset my immortal body and halt the evolution brought on by the simple passage of time. There's no guarantee I wouldn't become a blight for humanity if I evolved, but even if the merger failed and my ego spread beyond my body, at the end of my evolution I would be able to preserve my rationality with a barrier technique like this. It wasn't that I was confident, just like how the seasons are naturally changing, I thought that it was inevitable for something like this to eventually happen. We then see Yuki pour some tea and stare down Tengen, getting really angry, saying, are you kidding me? Making children bear the weight of their karma and then using their history as what you call rational, and then when you fail you can just say, well, it was okay not to merge. If that's what you call rationality, then you may as well call me the great sage and worship me, you shitty old geezer. I understand Yuki is getting quite angry because obviously she's a former star plasma vessel here, so she obviously feels sympathy for the people who have died for Tengen's cause when she wants to break away from cursed energy. She probably sees it as a pointless endeavor. But then we get this weird development where Master Tengen says, gender no longer matters to me, but technically speaking, I'd be a granny. So Master Tengen is a she. The more we know. We then learn that Yuki can actually hear the former voices of the star plasma vessels here, and Tengen asks, what are they saying? To which Yuki says, if I told you what happened to the star plasma vessels that merged with you, no matter if it was good or bad, you'd use your age to justify your passiveness, and then you'd pretend to come to some kind of enlightened conclusion, right? Then she says, I won't make it easy for you. That is my responsibility as a former star plasma vessel. And then we see Tengen say, I would have liked to talk with you a little longer, but then the panel cuts away to none other than Kenjaku. Now this makes me think that Tengen is actually kind of aware Kenjaku is breaking through the barrier, so I can only assume that Tengen knows that Kenjaku has arrived here. But this also kind of gives me a bit of foreshadowing here, because obviously we learned that Kenjaku can basically absorb Tengen with his cursed manipulation technique, because Tengen is more cursed than he is human, or she is human. Kind of gives me dark foreshadowing vibes here, and I honestly don't think Tengen is going to be around for much longer, if I'm honest here. It's at this point we get to see none other than Kenjaku breaking through the barrier, proclaiming you've outlived your usefulness, to an unamused Choso. Choso replies with, I'm not sure if this counts as interest, but I have the strange urge to kill you. Kenjaku, looking unamused, where's Tengen? Choso replies with, that talking thumb doesn't want to see you. I guess you're not well liked. Kenjaku replying with, then I suppose you're disposable fodder. Please do try your best. The culling game has already served its purpose. The preparations for the merger of all non-sorcerers in Japan have ended. We then see obviously Choso looking visibly shocked and confused. What happened? Are Yuji and the others okay? Obviously the last time we saw them, the culling games was being invaded by unknown armies, so we have no idea of the events that transpired since then. And for better or worse, this series is about to blow up. Kenjaku, then being the absolute showman that he is, decides he's going to take Choso to the movies, and he shows Choso a slideshow, basically, of what he thinks might happen when he merges with Tengen here. I also find it very funny that in the past couple of times that we've seen Kenjaku, he's just casually showing off slideshows and little movies. Like, the dude really likes being dramatic when he's showing off his plans to people, and I kind of like that. It kind of makes Kenjaku a very lovable villain. I'm kind of on board with that. But then we see Kenjaku explaining to Choso there, but if you ask me, that's just a step before the merger, a verification process from the culling game essentially. I've said before that unlike her, what I want isn't a world without cursed spirits, but I was surprised when she was worried about the Japanese being used as a cursed energy resource, or rather it made me happy the way she thinks is close to my own. Anyways, I've gotten off topic. We then see him moving on that from the beginning I worked alongside with sorcerers, even while considering the potential of cursed spirits. Perhaps a new form of cursed energy could be born from advancing cursed spirits to a higher level. He then turns to Choso and says, so I had high hopes for half-breeds between cursed spirits and humans like yourself, and then he says, how disappointing.
you were all too ordinary. Choso then literally threatens him, so I respect it. I'm also enjoying this sort of dialogue between the two because they were at one point allies. They helped each other seal Gojo, so it's kind of interesting seeing these two on the opposite sides of the coin now. We then see Kenjaku further talking about, after evolving, Tengen will be more like a cursed spirit than a human. So if all the non-sorcerers in Japan were to merge with Tengen, I think it'll be similar to a cursed spirit bearing the cursed spirit of 100 million people. Maybe it's like Uzumaki, but it's even capable of extracting something, and we get to see these images in the background of this, and I'm assuming that this is a representation of what Kenjaku thinks is going to happen, but we see a bunch of these Japanese people merging into one entity. We see hands everywhere, we see arms, legs, slight variations of what it looks like teeth there, until eventually we see this massive, what I can only describe is Eren Yeager-like colossal titan above the city of Japan here. And he goes on to say, I wonder what it will look like. Right now I feel like a kid holding a crayon in front of a blank piece of paper. I love that Kenjaku is being painted in this way of, he's just an artist, he's like a crazy scientist, he just wants to see how far this stuff can go. Kenjaku then, they sort of like leave the projector room. I'm assuming that there was a small domain cached by Kenjaku, and if so, that's kind of funny that he's a domain for projectors, which I don't know how that's explained, but it seems what it's looking like. We then get this little conversation further between Choso and Kenjaku where Choso says, what exactly do you want? Kenjaku, did you not understand anything I just said? Choso then says, no, I'm asking you, what do you get from this? What is it that motivates you? And then Kenjaku, being the absolute crazy psychopath he is, then says, my interest. I just think it will be interesting, but I won't know for sure until it happens. On top of that, what if the cursed accumulated energy looks like a clown face? I'd probably laugh. And then we see Choso firing a piercing blood at Kenjaku, and I'm going to assume that the next chapter in 203, Kenjaku and Choso are going to fight it out. And I'm going to be honest, as much as I want Choso to win this, and Choso's a powerful user, I just can't see him winning this. I genuinely think this is GG for Choso right here. But that's the entire chapter. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and if you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe to the video. We'll be doing Jujutsu Kaisen reviews every week along with Hunter x Hunter and Chainsaw Man. I've missed the past two of those, I apologize, but we're trying to get back on track, as well as other videos coming out on the sidelines there, here and there. So if you like the video, make sure to hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys around. Peace.